Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope we have a high energy now post lunch. Okay. I know it was a long day. Okay. So this session is about engaging with partners, in a movement. As we know that, collaboration is important for growing the reach or engagement and in general expanding the knowledge ecosystem which we are trying to build or which we have. And this represents, like as a Wikimedia ecosystem is a big, bubble, and there's a big bubble around, various projects which lies, around Wikimedia projects, volunteer developers, and so on and so forth. And what we are trying to give a message through this presentation is about how collaborations can make things more accessible, how we can build strategies, how we can innovate new ways of engagement with partners who are clearly a great stakeholders in terms of expanding knowledge mission. Plus, at the same time, we're not just talking about the external collaboration, but also collaboration internally with communities to basically identify the need of the communities and how we can, build trust within the ecosystem plus external ecosystem to ensure that we are working towards an strategy which is, helpful in expanding the knowledge mission.
Yeah, just to quickly add, first of all, I'm Jorge Vargas. I'm Director of Partnerships of the Wikimedia Foundation, and we'll get to introduce a little bit more of ourselves in a little bit. But this is a slide that was built for the Movement Strategy 2030 process. It's a little bit out of date. Probably you cannot see because of the small font, but I encourage you to just visualize that the idea of this is that we cannot think of ourselves in isolation or in a vacuum, right? We oftentimes tend to have a very Wikimedia-centered vision towards how we approach the work that we do. But in order to really achieve our vision of reaching every single human being out there and getting the sum of all knowledge, we need to be working out with many different people across many different sectors. Knowledge stewards, the creative community, human rights organizations, tech companies, other nonprofits, as long as the values and the mission are aligned with us. So I know that this seems like a lot, but basically the message is to really take the point that we cannot see ourselves just inward facing, but how do we, with the collaboration of others, manage to really achieve our vision?
Yep. So to this collaboration, we have a small regional partnerships team, which focuses on collaborations with external partners plus internal stakeholders, and it's spread across sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, LATAM, and MENA. And overall, Jack helps in handling Middle East and Asia, and as Jorge mentioned, he take care of the entire regional partnerships in general.
So yeah, this is just a quick slide of showing that within the foundation there is. We have two Faridas there. Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, we had a little typo. That's Brisa, sorry. We'll update this. Yep. But anyways, that was just to give a quick snapshot of there is a team within the foundation that is really focusing on supporting those partnerships with a geographical scope. But things are gonna shift and change, and that's something that Lisa will be talking more as we get into the annual planning process of how the foundation is looking, and it's what is the strategy of how we can better do partnerships that support the movement in the idea of we cannot be working in isolation, but rather in partnership also with affiliates, with the communities in the ground. So Praveen, if you want to talk a little bit more about this part.
Absolutely. I think since we are talking about different regions have different priorities. There are different engagement which needs to be done in different region. And when we are talking about South Asia in general, as a strategy, we think, for the growth is first identifying the need of the entire movement and also, developing the strategy for collaborative work internally and as well as externally. So From our APP perspective, the focus on the region is to cultivate, deep, mutually beneficial relationship with allied organization, and ensuring that we are trying to strengthen the bond with the communities, and understanding, what sort of need they have and how partnership can help in fulfilling those needs by creating innovative strategies and collaborations with external partners.
So, in other words, I guess like I would summarize this as we want to work with you and for you to identify what is the best way to understand what are the needs that your communities have and how can we do what we're calling a better two-way planning rather than the planning on how we think or look for partners that we think are fulfilling the needs of the movement. How can we actually hear from all of you in the different forums, the different spaces, the different channels that exist to be like, no, this actually like, if my community had access to work with my local government, I would be able to unlock the goals that my community needs in order to bring more images into commons that I need under a free license in order to do my work. That is what we are trying to like better understand. How can we do this better two-way planning to create spaces where we think of partnerships as a joint mission between what your needs are in the communities and what we within the foundation can help unlock.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. As I always say, India is a country within country. There's so many languages, and every language, every Wikipedia, every wikis have its own priorities. The collaboration would help us, the engagement, the conversation with the communities will help us understand those needs and how we can, build strategies which will be beneficial for the entire movement.
And I would also just to end this because we really wanted to like be very quick with the 15 minutes, 10 minutes that we had to like share this is to mention and maybe like use as a segue for the following presentation, the annual planning process of the foundation, the fact that the Wikimedia Foundation has been steadily heading towards a more regionalized approach. Before, you probably would see the Wikimedia Foundation, for those who have been for many years in the movement, as a very separate, faraway, San Francisco-based organization that is a little bit disconnected to our realities. And we are really trying to change that narrative, but not only getting teams in a more regionalized way, like partnerships, but you're starting to see people like Praveen, like Rashid, like many others that are your focal points to be able to say like, we actually have someone in our context, in our ground, who speaks some of our languages to be able to communicate with us. And the idea is that the planning process continues to be in this two-way model in which we continue to find ways to really regionalize our work and properly achieve knowledge equity that way, rather than us coming with a maybe misconception that previously I've heard in many years ago, the foundation has a plan for India somewhere, or like the foundation has a plan for Africa somewhere. We don't. We actually need to build it with you and for you. And that is the idea of like how this model is continuing to evolve.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think with that, we just wanted to end the presentation by saying, let's strengthen the bond, which, with this WikiConference India, and let's connect.
Yeah, just and let us know. I think that for us, I'll just end with a question. What is the best way to identify, work, and hear from you around the needs that maybe a partnership with any kind of stakeholder could help unlock? And how can Praveen, in the case of this region, can help find, scope those partnerships, and play a role in working with you all to get there? So we're going to be here all weekend, and we're more than happy to like talk to you either directly to Praveen, or you can also just reach partnerships@wikimedia.org if you want to just tackle generally. But yeah, we're going to be here all weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.